Taurus! I just finished this incredibly intense reading for you all, and honestly, I need to share what came through because the energy around this topic is absolutely overwhelming. Today, we're looking into something really heavy. When love becomes the reason your reputation gets completely destroyed. I know this sounds scary, but please stay with me because the cards have so much wisdom to offer about navigating this challenging terrain. Before I dive into the cards, I want you to know that I approach this reading with so much care and intention. The universe has been pushing me to address this topic for weeks now, and when I finally sat down with my deck, the energy was immediately intense. I could feel the weight of what was about to be revealed, and honestly, my hands were shaking as I shuffled the cards. The thing about reputation destruction through love is that it rarely happens overnight. It's usually a slow burn, a series of choices that seemed right in the moment, but compound into something much bigger. What the cards want you to understand today is that sometimes our hearts lead us down paths that our logical minds would never choose, and the consequences can ripple out in ways we never imagined. I'm going to pull 10 cards for you today, and each one is going to reveal a different layer of this complex situation. Some of what comes through might feel uncomfortable, but remember, the cards never judge. They simply illuminate what is, what was, and what could be. Your free will always remains intact, and understanding these energies gives you the power to make different choices. Let me start by saying that if you're currently in a situation where your reputation is being threatened because of love, you're not alone. The shame and isolation that comes with this experience can be absolutely crushing, but there's wisdom in understanding the deeper patterns at play. The first card I'm drawing for you is the Wheel of Fortune. Oh my goodness, Taurus. This card came flying out of the deck with such force that it actually landed face up on my table before I even finished shuffling. The universe is making it very clear that what we're dealing with here is not random bad luck. This is karmic in nature. The Wheel of Fortune in this position is telling us that the reputation challenges you're facing or might face around love are part of a much larger cosmic pattern. See, this card represents the cyclical nature of life, the ups and downs that we all experience. But when it appears in a reading about reputation destruction, it's specifically highlighting how our past actions and choices have set this wheel in motion. What I'm seeing here is that somewhere in your past, and this could be this lifetime, or even previous incarnations, there were choices made around love that weren't entirely pure in their intention. Maybe you or someone in your karmic circle chose love over honor, chose passion over responsibility, or chose desire over what was right for everyone involved. The Wheel of Fortune is showing me that now, the universe is creating a situation where you have the opportunity to learn a different way of being in love. This isn't punishment, it's education. The reputation challenges are forcing you to examine what really matters to you. Are you willing to lose everything for love? Are you prepared to face social ostracism for the sake of your heart's desires? But here's the thing that's really beautiful about the Wheel of Fortune. It never stays in one position forever. The wheel keeps turning, which means that even if your reputation is currently under threat or has already been damaged, this is not your permanent state. The key is learning the lesson that this cycle is trying to teach you so that when the wheel turns again, you're ready for the upswing. I'm also seeing that this card is highlighting the role of timing in your situation. There's something about divine timing here that you need to pay attention to. Maybe you fell in love with the right person at the wrong time, or maybe you made choices about love when you weren't ready to handle the consequences. The Wheel of Fortune is reminding you that there are seasons for everything, and sometimes we have to wait for the right season to pursue what our hearts desire. The energy around this card is also showing me that you have more power over your reputation than you might think. Yes, other people might be talking, gossiping, or making judgments, but ultimately, how you carry yourself through this experience will determine how the story ends. The Wheel of Fortune gives us the power to influence which direction it turns next. Moving to the second card, I drew the Three of Swords. And honestly, I had to take a moment before I could even look at it properly, because the energy hit me like a wave. This card represents heartbreak, betrayal, and emotional pain. But in the context of reputation destruction, it's showing us something even more complex. The Three of Swords here is revealing that the damage to your reputation isn't just about external judgment. It's about the internal heartbreak of realizing that choosing love sometimes means choosing pain. This card is showing me that you might be experiencing or will experience a devastating realization that the person you're willing to risk everything for might not be worth that risk. What's particularly painful about this card in this position is that it's highlighting betrayal from multiple sources. Not only might the person you love be betraying you in some way, but society, friends, and family are also betraying your trust by turning against you when you most need support. This creates a triple wound. The wound from your beloved, the wound from society, and the wound from your own inner critic, who knew better but chose love anyway. The Three of Swords is also showing me that this experience is breaking your heart open in ways that will ultimately serve your highest good. Sometimes we need to have our hearts completely shattered so that they can heal back together in a stronger, wiser configuration. The reputation damage might be the catalyst for you to develop a more authentic relationship with yourself and with love in general. I'm seeing that this card is particularly relevant for Taurus because your sign values stability and security so highly. Having your reputation threatened or destroyed feels like having your foundation pulled out from under you. The Three of Swords is acknowledging this pain while also pointing toward the possibility of building something more solid and authentic from the rubble. There's also an element of public humiliation connected to this card. The Three of Swords can represent being the subject of gossip, having your private business become public knowledge, or being judged harshly by people who don't understand the full context of your situation. This is especially painful for earth signs like Taurus, who prefer to keep their personal lives private. But here's what the Three of Swords is also teaching us. Sometimes the pain is the point. Sometimes we need to experience the full weight of the consequences of our choices in order to make different choices in the future. The heartbreak isn't punishment, it's information. It's showing you exactly what happens when you prioritize passion over wisdom, desire over discernment. The third card that came through is the Ten of Pentacles reversed. And Taurus, this card is speaking directly to your deepest fears about security and legacy. When the Ten of Pentacles appears reversed in a reading about reputation destruction, it's highlighting how love choices can threaten everything you've worked to build in terms of social standing, family harmony, and material security. This card is showing me that the reputation issues you're dealing with aren't just affecting you personally. They're affecting your entire family system, your professional life, and your long-term security. The Ten of Pentacles reversed suggests that by choosing love over social expectations, you might be jeopardizing inheritances, family relationships, business partnerships, or other forms of material stability. What's particularly challenging about this card is that it's highlighting the generational impact of your choices. As a Taurus, you naturally think in terms of legacy and what you're building for the future. The Ten of Pentacles reversed is showing that your current love situation might be disrupting not just your own life, but the lives of your children, your family members, and even future generations. I'm seeing scenarios where family members are cutting you off financially or socially because they disapprove of your romantic choices. Maybe you're being written out of wills, or maybe business opportunities are being withdrawn because of who you've chosen to love. This card can also represent the loss of social status that comes from being associated with scandal or controversy. But there's another layer to this card that's really important to understand. The Ten of Pentacles reversed can also represent freedom from oppressive family systems or social structures that were never truly serving your authentic self. Sometimes losing the approval and support of toxic systems is actually a blessing in disguise, even though it feels devastating in the moment. This card is asking you to really examine what kind of legacy you want to leave. Do you want to be remembered as someone who played it safe and followed all the rules, even if those rules kept you from experiencing true love and authenticity? Or do you want to be remembered as someone who was brave enough to choose love, even when it cost you everything society told you was important? The Ten of Pentacles reversed is also highlighting themes around chosen family versus biological family. Maybe your blood relatives are rejecting you, but you're building a new kind of family structure based on love, acceptance, and authenticity rather than social expectations and material concerns. For the fourth card, I drew the Five of Cups, and the energy around this card is so heavy with grief and regret. In the context of reputation destruction through love, the Five of Cups is showing us the deep sadness that comes from looking back at all the things you've lost in pursuit of or because of love. This card typically shows a figure in a black cloak, mourning over 3 spilled cups while 2 remain standing behind them. In your situation, those 3 spilled cups represent your reputation, your social standing, and the respect of people whose opinions mattered to you. But those 2 standing cups represent hope and possibility. They represent what you still have and what you can still build. The Five of Cups is showing me that you're currently in a grief process about the life you thought you were going to have. Maybe you imagined growing old with the approval of your family and community. Maybe you thought you could have love and respectability at the same time, or maybe you never anticipated that choosing love would cost you so much socially. This card is particularly poignant because it acknowledges that the grief is real and valid. You're not wrong to mourn the loss of your reputation or the respect of people you cared about. These losses matter, and pretending they don't would be dishonest and ultimately harmful to your healing process. But the Five of Cups is also teaching us about the danger of getting stuck in the mourning process. Yes, you need to acknowledge and feel the grief, but at some point, you need to turn around and see those 2 cups that are still standing. What do you still have? What is still possible? What beauty and love remain in your life despite the losses? I'm seeing that this card is connected to regret and the torture of wondering what if. What if you had made different choices? What if you had prioritized reputation over love? What if you had been more careful, more discreet, more strategic? The Five of Cups acknowledges these thoughts while gently reminding you that you cannot change the past. You can only work with what you have now. This card is also highlighting the isolation that comes with reputation destruction. The figure in the Five of Cups is alone, separated from community, processing their grief in solitude. This might be reflecting your current experience of feeling cut off from social circles, feeling like you can't show your face in certain places, or feeling like you're carrying this burden alone. The fifth card I'm pulling for you is the Knight of Swords, and wow, this card burst into the reading with such aggressive energy that I actually jumped. In the context of reputation destruction through love, the Knight of Swords is representing the ruthless, cutting energy of gossip, judgment, and social attack. This card is showing me that the damage to your reputation isn't happening slowly or subtly. It's happening with the swift, merciless speed of a sword cutting through the air. People are talking, rumors are spreading, and judgments are being made at lightning speed. The Knight of Swords can represent how quickly a reputation can be destroyed in our modern world of social media and instant communication. What's particularly brutal about this card is that it suggests the attacks on your reputation are strategic and intentional. This isn't just casual gossip. Someone or some group of people are actively working to destroy your standing in the community. The Knight of Swords has a mission, and that mission is to cut down everything in its path. This card might be representing a specific person in your life who has made it their mission to destroy your reputation because of your love choices. Maybe it's a jealous ex-partner, a disapproving family member, or someone who feels threatened by your relationship in some way. The Knight of Swords is showing that this person is not going to give up easily. They're on a crusade. But there's another way to interpret this card that's actually empowering. The Knight of Swords can also represent your own inner warrior energy, the part of you that's willing to fight back against unjust judgment and social persecution. Maybe instead of being the victim of sword energy, you need to pick up your own sword and defend yourself and your choices. This card is also connected to truth-telling and cutting through illusion. Sometimes reputation destruction happens because someone is forcing truths into the light that were previously hidden. The Knight of Swords doesn't care about diplomacy or gentle revelation. It cuts straight to the heart of the matter, exposing everything that was concealed. I'm also seeing that this card is highlighting the mental anguish that comes with being under social attack. The Knight of Swords rules the realm of thoughts and communications, so you might be experiencing obsessive thoughts, anxiety, or mental overwhelm related to what people are saying about you or thinking about you. The sixth card that came through is the Eight of Pentacles reversed, and this card is showing us how reputation destruction can completely derail your ability to focus on your work, your craft, or your personal development. When your reputation is under attack because of love, it becomes almost impossible to concentrate on anything else. The Eight of Pentacles is traditionally about mastery, skill development, and dedicated work toward perfection. But when it appears reversed in this context, it's showing how scandal and social judgment can make it impossible to maintain the focus and dedication required for professional or personal excellence. This card is particularly relevant for Taurus because your sign is naturally associated with steady, persistent work toward mastery. You're the type of person who builds expertise slowly and carefully over time. But when your reputation is being destroyed, that careful building process gets completely disrupted. I'm seeing that this card might be reflecting real-world consequences in your professional life. Maybe clients are avoiding you, maybe business partners are backing out, or maybe career opportunities are disappearing because of the scandal surrounding your love life. The Eight of Pentacles reversed shows how personal reputation issues can have very practical financial impacts. This card is also highlighting perfectionism and how it can become your enemy during times of social judgment. As a Taurus, you probably have high standards for yourself and your work. But when your reputation is under attack, you might become paralyzed by the fear that nothing you do will be good enough to restore your standing. The Eight of Pentacles reversed is showing that perfectionism becomes impossible when you're operating from a place of shame and social rejection. There's also an element of this card that's about losing pride in your work or your identity. Maybe you used to be known for your professionalism, your skill, or your reliability, but now all anyone can talk about is your love life and the scandal surrounding it. The Eight of Pentacles reversed reflects the frustration of having your professional identity overshadowed by personal drama. But this card also contains hope. It suggests that this disruption to your work and mastery is temporary. Once you work through the emotional and social challenges you're facing, you'll be able to return to your craft with even greater wisdom and depth. Sometimes we need to step away from our obsession with perfection and achievement in order to learn more important lessons about love, authenticity, and what really matters. The seventh card I drew is the Page of Cups reversed, and this card is bringing up themes around emotional manipulation, deception, and the dark side of romantic idealism. In the context of reputation destruction, this card is suggesting that part of the problem might be that you or someone else involved in your situation has been operating from a place of emotional immaturity or manipulation. The Page of Cups typically represents youthful, innocent love and emotional openness. But when reversed, it can indicate emotional manipulation, using feelings as weapons, or allowing romantic fantasies to override practical wisdom. This card is suggesting that some of the reputation damage you're experiencing might be connected to emotional games or manipulation tactics. This could manifest in several ways. Maybe the person you're in love with has been manipulating you emotionally, leading you to make choices that you wouldn't normally make. Maybe they've been using your deep feelings for them to get you to behave in ways that damage your reputation or social standing. Alternatively, this card might be reflecting your own emotional immaturity in handling your love situation. Maybe you've been making emotional decisions without thinking through the practical consequences. Maybe you've been so caught up in romantic fantasy that you've ignored warning signs or red flags that could have helped you protect your reputation. The Page of Cups reversed can also represent gossip and emotional manipulation from third parties. Maybe people in your social circle are spreading rumors or using emotional manipulation tactics to turn others against you. They might be playing on people's fears, jealousies, or moral judgments to create a campaign against your reputation. This card is also highlighting themes around social media and how emotional content can be weaponized in the digital age. Maybe private messages, photos, or emotional expressions have been made public in ways that damage your reputation. The Page of Cups reversed can represent how our private emotional lives can become public spectacle in harmful ways. But there's also a lesson in this card about growing beyond emotional manipulation and developing more mature ways of handling love and relationships. The Page of Cups reversed is showing you what doesn't work so that you can evolve into the Queen or King of Cups, someone who has mastery over their emotions and uses them wisely rather than destructively. The eighth card that came through is the Two of Swords reversed, and this card is all about the impossible decisions and mental conflict that arise when love and reputation are at odds with each other. This card represents the agonizing position of having to choose between your heart and your social standing. The Two of Swords typically shows a blindfolded figure holding two swords in a crossed position, representing being stuck between two equally challenging options. When reversed, it suggests that the time for sitting on the fence is over. You have to make a decision, even though all available options have serious consequences. In your situation, this card is reflecting the mental torture of trying to figure out how to have love and respectability at the same time. Maybe you've been trying to keep your relationship secret, or maybe you've been hoping that somehow you could make everyone happy while still following your heart. The Two of Swords reversed is saying that this middle ground is no longer available to you. This card is showing me sleepless nights, obsessive thinking, and endless mental loops where you go over and over the same impossible decision. Should you end the relationship to save your reputation? Should you fight for love regardless of the social consequences? Should you try to find some kind of compromise that satisfies everyone? The Two of Swords reversed is also highlighting how mental paralysis can actually make your reputation problems worse. When you can't make clear decisions, you end up sending mixed messages to everyone involved. This confusion can create even more drama and give your critics more ammunition to use against you. This card is particularly challenging for Taurus because your sign likes clear, stable situations where you know where you stand. The Two of Swords reversed represents the opposite, a situation where there's no clear right answer and every choice comes with significant losses. But the reversed position also suggests that clarity is coming. The blindfold is being removed, and even though the decision is painful, you're starting to see the situation more clearly. You're beginning to understand what you're really willing to sacrifice and what you absolutely cannot live without. The ninth card I pulled is the Devil reversed, and this is actually one of the most hopeful cards in the entire reading. When the Devil appears reversed in a reading about reputation destruction through love, it suggests that you're breaking free from toxic patterns, unhealthy obsessions, or situations that were keeping you trapped. The Devil card traditionally represents bondage, addiction, unhealthy attachments, and being trapped by your own desires. But when reversed, it indicates liberation, breaking free from toxic patterns, and reclaiming your power from situations or people that were controlling you. In the context of your reputation challenges, this card is suggesting that the social judgment and criticism you're facing might actually be the catalyst you needed to break free from a situation that wasn't truly serving your highest good. Maybe the person you were willing to sacrifice your reputation for was actually manipulating you or keeping you trapped in unhealthy patterns. This card is also indicating that you're starting to see the situation more clearly. The illusions and fantasies that might have been clouding your judgment are being stripped away, and you're beginning to understand the real costs and benefits of your choices. The Devil reversed can also represent breaking free from social expectations and religious or cultural conditioning that was keeping you trapped in inauthentic ways of being. Maybe losing the approval of certain social circles is actually freeing you to be more true to yourself than you've ever been before. This card is showing me that the reputation destruction, while painful, might actually be serving as a kind of spiritual intervention. Sometimes we need to lose everything that we think we want in order to discover what we actually need for our souls to thrive. The Devil reversed also suggests that you're developing better boundaries and learning to say no to situations, people, or social pressures that aren't aligned with your authentic values. Maybe you're discovering that some of the relationships and social connections you thought you needed were actually draining your energy and keeping you small. The final card in this reading is the Star reversed, and I have to say, this card makes me feel both sad and hopeful at the same time. The Star is traditionally a card of hope, inspiration, and spiritual guidance, but when reversed, it can indicate feeling disconnected from your higher purpose or losing faith in the future. In the context of reputation destruction through love, the Star reversed is reflecting the spiritual crisis that can occur when everything you thought you knew about yourself and your life gets turned upside down. You might be feeling like you've lost your way, like you don't know who you are anymore, or like you can't trust your own judgment about love and relationships. This card is acknowledging the deep disappointment and disillusionment that can come with having your reputation destroyed. Maybe you used to believe that good people were always rewarded and that doing the right thing would protect you from serious consequences. The Star reversed reflects the shattering of these idealistic beliefs. But here's the thing about the Star reversed. It's not permanent. This card is showing a temporary loss of faith and connection to your higher purpose, but it's also pointing toward the possibility of renewal and spiritual rebirth. Sometimes we need to lose our naive faith in order to develop a more mature, realistic relationship with hope and spirituality. This card is also highlighting the importance of finding new sources of inspiration and guidance. Maybe the social circles, family members, or religious communities that used to provide you with spiritual support are no longer available to you because of your reputation issues. The Star reversed is encouraging you to find new ways to connect with the divine and with your own inner wisdom. I'm also seeing that this card is connected to forgiveness, both forgiving yourself for the choices that led to your current situation and finding it in your heart to forgive others who have judged or abandoned you. The Star reversed suggests that holding on to resentment and regret will only keep you trapped in the darkness longer. Looking at all 10 cards together, Taurus, I'm seeing a story of profound transformation through crisis. Yes, your reputation might be damaged or destroyed because of love, but this experience is also offering you the opportunity to rebuild your life on a more authentic foundation. The cards are showing that this situation has karmic significance. It's not random bad luck, but rather a necessary part of your soul's evolution. You're being asked to examine what really matters to you: social approval or authentic love, external validation or inner truth, conformity or courage. The reading reveals that the pain you're experiencing is real and valid. Losing your reputation is genuinely devastating, especially for an earth sign like Taurus, who values security and stability. But the cards are also showing that this destruction is making space for something more genuine and spiritually aligned to emerge. Some of the key themes that came through include the role of timing and karma, the difference between authentic love and emotional manipulation, the importance of making clear decisions rather than trying to please everyone, and the possibility of finding freedom and authenticity through loss. The cards want you to know that your reputation in the conventional sense might be damaged, but your integrity and your capacity for authentic love remain intact. Sometimes we have to lose the approval of people who never really knew us in order to find the courage to be who we truly are. If you're currently facing reputation destruction because of love, the cards are encouraging you to focus on what you can control rather than what you can't. You can't control what people say about you, but you can control how you respond to criticism and judgment. You can't force people to understand your choices, but you can make sure those choices are aligned with your deepest values. The reading also emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between constructive criticism and toxic judgment. Some of the social feedback you're receiving might contain valid insights about your choices and behavior, while other criticism might simply be projection, jealousy, or moral superiority from people who haven't walked in your shoes. Moving forward, the cards suggest focusing on building a life that feels authentic to you, rather than trying to repair your reputation in the eyes of people who were never really in your corner to begin with. This might mean building new social circles, finding new sources of professional opportunity, or even relocating to places where your past doesn't define your future. The cards also want to remind you that reputation is ultimately just other people's opinions, and opinions can change. While the immediate consequences of reputation damage are real and need to be dealt with practically, your essential worth as a person hasn't changed. You are still deserving of love, respect, and happiness, regardless of what mistakes you might have made or what people might be saying about you. This reading has been incredibly intense to channel, and I want to thank you for staying with me through all of these difficult themes. If any of this resonates with your current situation, please remember that you're not alone, and that this experience, while painful, has the potential to transform your life in ways that ultimately serve your highest good. Remember to be gentle with yourself as you navigate this challenging time. Your heart led you to make certain choices for reasons that made sense to you at the time, and judging yourself harshly won't change the past or improve your future.